and welcome to my channel. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and I'm going to work on my mini Heaven and Earth design today. I feel like it's been a while since I've worked on a Heaven and Earth design, so I'm going for Mini Beautiful Light. This one only has 15 colours, but it is 46 centimetres by 82 centimetres, and I actually haven't got that much done of this one so far. I've done what looks like 3 sections and I tend to do a block that is 30 by 20 when I do a section. Now on this canvas I have sort of already marked or just highlighted where the sort of block is of 10 by 10. This canvas does have it on it, but it is not like the clearest thing. So what I do use, if it's not extremely clear, is this Edding 8404 aerospace marker 0.75 mil. And what I can actually do then is just go over the top. It's a permanent marker, but it can sometimes be handy to just go over the top of the darker line that's sort of already there, but not pure, you know, not extremely visible. So if you look at the difference, look at the difference between there and there, I can see there a lot clearer. Now this canvas, or this cover sheet, is sort of sectioned down the middle as well as to the side, but this canvas is actually going to be too wide for what I need. I did order a bigger size than I needed. So let me just pile in the 310 because I'm going to start with the dark colour on this one and get these big dark blocks filled in. Just check, am I still in the right camera angle? Yeah, because it's a very big canvas. It's wrapped around like a pool noodle type pipe lagging thing, so I'm leaning on that while I try and get this sort of top row in. Because this one has less colours, this one is a little bit quicker to do than my other Heaven and Earth design, but it does still take a bit of time because the symbols aren't on the canvas. I'm having to look up here for the symbols, but I'm going to go sort of block by block. So there's a block here of colour, then there's a block here, and then there's sort of a block here with some little bits, and then there's some bits down here. So that's what I'm going by. And then I've got my highlighter marked. I've actually highlighted a bit too far, but let's fill that bit in and I can join it up. And I can go through your questions. So firstly thank you to everybody that's ordered this shop launch. Seemed to go a little bit better announcing the time. Seemed to go better for many people. They could choose to set an alarm if they preferred. Also, I think doing it UK time on a Friday evening seemed to help as well. I don't know if that's because it hits sort of more time zones. It's practical for more time zones for the bulk of shoppers. It seemed that worked better, so maybe we will try what did that shout at me for? I don't know. Maybe we'll try keep up with the Friday PM rather than doing the Saturday AM. Might do it a little bit later though, due to the clock change. It was It was 5 o'clock in the morning for Western Australia. I think it was 5 o'clock it worked out as for Western Australia. So I might try moving it till 10 next time, 10 p.m. So it still be early in the morning for Western Australia, not too late for the UK. And yeah, hopefully it will work out as being sort of the ideal time. That's what I'm looking for. The ideal time for as many people as possible. And we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the trays did extremely well yet again. I am working with a green one at the moment. We did have less green than we did red this time because the printers seem to have a few little hiccups, paddies, strops, whatever you want to call them, little mini meltdowns a few times while doing the green. So we did lose a few more trays that didn't get to complete the printing than we would have liked, which resulted in less trays. But that's what made us definitely do a second colour. We were thinking of only doing one colour in November, but due to the limited amount of numbers, we were like, no, we definitely need to go for 2. But yeah, thank you all so much as always for your support. We are trying to look at the best way, you know, to make sure that we get trays for everybody. If we can look to the point of doing more of one colour, you know, and having more of a quantity of colour, it is something we'll try. But each tray still takes 3 hours to print, and sometimes it's a way up between having 2 colours or having more of one colour, and it can be a hard decision to make each and every month. Okay, that's that section done. I like doing this black. Okay, so let's have a look at questions. So Bond Girl says, my DP canvases are never set up like that with the circles. So this question was left when I was doing the Minions painting from Diamond Art Club. They're just a strip of colour with the symbols. Also, her drills are never exactly the same size / shape, and she doesn't get them perfectly lined up, and she doesn't know why that is. So in relation to the canvas, each and every sort of seller, manufacturer, they're all different in regards to how they do the canvas. Some of them will do a bold circle around, for example, a circle diamond painting. Some of them will do a bold circle round, often referred to as training wheels, which many of us don't like when it comes to placing white diamonds, because if you don't line it up exactly right, you see the little training circles. Some companies do a lighter circle around it, which can be fine and not cause any problems. Some sellers actually do a slight, so they do a circle but they don't outline it. So for example, if the colour's blue, they'll do a light blue for you to place the diamond on, and then round the outside they'll do a slightly darker blue. And sometimes they can look very similar in colour, and it gives you a little bit of a guide but not too much. And then some sellers don't do them at all, as in any sort of guide between the two. And it really is a personal preference for each seller and each person that's doing it. I don't like the solid black lines, but apart from that, I don't so much mind which it is after that. I kind of like the ones that's two-tone colours, but I also don't mind the ones that have an outline, but in like a very pale grey, for example, because it's still enough that it's not in your face, and you can still see where you're going. In relation to the diamonds, I think you tend to find, or at least I find, the quality of the diamonds can vary greatly. I mean, I say greatly. It's not that the other diamonds won't do your picture and that your picture won't look nice. But there are some companies, Diamond Art Club, Diamond Art Studio, for example, even Ever Moment with their squares, that are often a lot better quality and shape of diamond, and that tends to come with paying for the higher price kits. The higher price ones do tend to be a lot more uniform in size, and they can be quite a bit nicer sometimes to place. You know, they do feel a bit more of a luxury diamond painting. Having said that, I've just finished one that is around. It is not by one of the big companies, it is by one of the cheaper companies. And while the quality of the diamonds, there was a couple that were a slightly different size, it wasn't quite in, you know, the Diamond Art Club range. Once the picture's done, you cannot tell at all. Like, you really can't tell that the diamonds aren't, you know, exactly right or as uniform as the likes of Diamond Art Club and Diamond Art Studio. So yeah, a lot of that is down to cost, because it does cost more to get, you know, drills that are normally, it's the resin drills, I think. They're made of resin. The process can mean that there can be bubbles in them occasionally, which you don't find with all companies. So you can have some that have got bubbles in that you do need to discard, but you tend to find that more of the drills are more uniform, and especially with the round drills, you don't tend to find them as much of a different size as you would. But I place them anyway, unless they are absolutely tiny and quite obviously, you know, will leave a massive gap when you place the diamond down. I still use those slightly misshaped round ones, because once you've done the painting, you cannot tell. You really cannot tell. Diana, she says, I have a question for you. If you're working on a painting and you realise that the diamonds are very misshapen or poor quality, misshapen, tabs, not shiny, too small, do you still keep them in your spares, and if so, why? Yes, I do still keep them in my spares. It is very rare that I will throw a set of diamonds away. More often than not, you will find I will put them in my spares. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, if I don't have any of that colour, so if I had a painting in the future that I ran out of, let's use the colour 310 for an example, even though we all know I have plenty of those. If I ran out of 310 in the future, I would much rather have those misshapen ones than not have any. Because even having the poorer quality ones could mean that I could finish my painting by picking out the best of the bad bunch, picking out the best of them and using those to finish my painting. If I knew I'd had that colour and I'd actually got rid of them because of the quality, I know personally myself, I would be very disappointed when it came to finishing up a painting if I couldn't, because of that decision I've made earlier. So that's one reason. The second reason, if I do already have that colour, so we'll use 310 as an example, but you know, more real life now, I have loads of 310. I have a huge bag of 310 that is left over from various kits and various companies. And 310 can often be the diamond that is the hardest to get right. So if you're going to find any faults with a diamond or any misshapen, you know, any not very good quality, quite often it will show up in the black more than it will show up in any colour. Not always the case, but primarily the black will tell you the quality of the drills that you're using. However, because I have so many 310, if I mix them all together and throw them all in that same bag, the poor quality actually goes down because I've got so many others that are good quality. So they all get thrown in. I tend to be more picky with my diamonds that I want to use / want to keep when I'm actually doing a painting. That's when I'm fussy. So that's when I will get rid of any diamond, you know, that is misshapen or is poor quality, or is really, really bad. I won't go looking through them before I'm diamond painting. I'll deal with them when I'm diamond painting and just throw them out as I go along. Right, let's go back to per colour now, I think. Because all of the rest of the symbols on here now are quite light. I've done my big block of dark, so I'm going to go by colour. So that one goes there. Yep. Had one a little bit out in the sticks. That one goes there. So yeah, I tend to keep them. It's very, very rare. If they are extremely bad and you find that you've discarded a whole lot more than what you've kept and they really frustrated you, then have a check. If you've got some of that colour already, so therefore you're not going to have that problem if you end up with a painting that runs out, then get rid of them. It's not worth keeping something that caused you frustration to potentially cause you even more frustration in the future. But if you don't have any of them, I would consider keeping them, even if you put a note in there to say, these are really horrible drills, when I get this colour again, bin these. You could always do that. But yeah, I just throw them all in. And if I'm going to deal with any bad drills, I'll deal with them when I'm diamond painting. Right, where were we up to? So, done that one. 317. Looks like we're going to have a lot of white at the end of this. We're going to have a lot of filling in by the time I get to the bottom. That's fine because I can chat away then while I'm filling in. Let's get my little bit of shading in. So I'm currently on 317. I'm filling in now, and I am highlighting each of these as I go because they are in various different spots. And I'm only going to this line here because below that is in a different section. And this is one painting that I would, even if it was the last colour I think that I needed to use, in, you know, even if that one here highlighted was the last colour, last one of these diamonds I ever needed to place, I think I would still leave it. It can be very complicated if you start spreading about on Heaven and Earth design paintings. I much prefer keeping it very, very focused on the section I'm working on. Katerina, she said, thank you for asking my question about the small clear tray. She said she understands and she will happily wait and get some other colours in the meantime for when or if there will be one. She says your trays are the best and it's worth every amount of weight. Oh, thank you. We are trying to keep everybody happy with every colour request. We're trying to go through them all. We're trying to get to the point where we can start repeating some of the most popular ones for people that did miss out originally. It can just be very, very hard. There's just not enough printers in our house, and we have 3 already. But I really, really don't have the space for any more. Okay, that's those 3. And we did look at getting them printed for us, but it just would hike the price up far too much to be practical. And it's not fair. They charge a fortune for like per item that they print. It's ridiculous. So we'll just keep beavering away, printing as many trays as we can. Rebecca, so we've got another Rebecca. She says she wants Mr. Quackers and the giraffe, but she can't afford them. She was upset because her last 2 paintings had several colours that were blurred and she couldn't tell where they went. Maybe this is, you know, Christmas is coming up. Maybe it's something that you need to either note down for Christmas or save up so that you could get yourself Mr. Quackers or the giraffe or Jeffrey. They are really nice paintings, and they're a decent size as well. They're quite a big diamond painting. So, oh, helps if I pick up the diamond. So they do take a while to do. So, you know, once you have got them, you will feel as though you're, you know, getting your goods money's worth out of them, because they take a bit of time to do. Not too much time, I don't think, but they do take some time to do. But yeah, Mr. Quackers is getting there. Mr. Quackers is getting there. And then I might let the app decide what's the next big painting that I'm doing, but kind of hope that he'll pick Jeffrey as well. We'll see how we go. Debbie says, hi, hope this finds you well. Thank you for the diamond painting tray. It's lovely, and I'm now using it. It's so easy. Oh, fantastic. I love it when you know, I can understand the wariness sometimes to try something new. For example, in relation to the tray, you know, I do rave about how much I love it, but I also sell it, so I completely understand that, you know, for some people, especially if money's short or if it's getting shipped to an alternative country and they've got to take postage into account, it can sometimes take a bit for people to decide it's something they want to do, especially if they have to watch the pennies. I completely get that. But it does make me happy when somebody has, you know, maybe made that decision to take, in effect, the plunge. Well, not so much to take the plunge, but somebody's made that decision to buy one, to treat themselves to one, and they don't regret it. I love it when, you know, when they get the tray or they get their order and they're happy with it. It makes me smile. I love messages like that. So thank you so much, Debbie. The cat lady, she says she has all her Christmas shopping done. Oh my goodness me. Bar a surprise present for the hubby, but that's becoming very difficult to find as I don't know what I want. I get that completely. She's got creative with her spare special drills, and has made some snowdrop decorations and decorated some name plaques. Wow, you are organised. She tends to get sorted early so she can either take them down to Wales on a pre-Christmas visit or post them in time for Christmas. She likes being organised where possible. I like being organised, I just don't have the time sometimes to be organised. And with Christmas I find like it's creeping up on me. I'm sure I said that last year. And she says they've put a stop on their decorating, so i.e. house decorating, things like that, until after Christmas to stop it becoming stressful. Yeah, I get that as well. I don't think we're decorating another room at all before Christmas. It's saved on me. We are looking at potentially getting a new kitchen. So that is something that we're looking at. I'm just wondering if I could zoom you in a little bit more. Maybe not, for you to be able to see both. We'll try there. Yeah, we are looking at potentially getting a new kitchen, but we know it probably won't be fitted till after Christmas. So while we're looking at it now, it's an after Christmas item. Oh, I didn't think I had any of that then. I was looking in the wrong section. Let's just tip a couple out and see if that's enough. Where am I going? I'm going here. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, where are those diamonds again? Where do they need to go? So we're going there and there. And then, throw my pen. We're going one up here and one to fill in that gap. Done. And I have one lonely little diamond left. Let's tip it out that way. All Things Crafty by Kaz. She says loves her diamond painting pen. It's become my new favourite pen, and my previous favourite is my second favourite. I don't know which pen you bought, but I enjoy working on both of these quite often. So there's some metal pens and then we have some resin pens that are a bit thicker. And I tend to change which one I'm using often. Sometimes I try to colour match it to the painting, and sometimes it's just what I feel like that day. I forget which one I've used from one last WIP and Chat to another. But I only need 3 of these diamonds, so I'm just going to try and dip into the pot to get them, because it just takes out the whole step of tipping them back out. And same with this one. I actually only need 2 because that one's in the next section. So one goes up here, and this is like a beige colour that is even appearing in a black and white. Oh, where's this one? Okay, so I'm going up there. So that's 1, 2. Oh, we've got a few more 762. I'll tip those in. Melissa, she says, love my zesty tray and my zesty wolf. Thank you. She primes her glue dot pen on her suede sofa arm. So with the glue dot, occasionally you can find that it starts getting really sticky, and it can get to the point where it actually pulls the diamond off the painting rather than the painting glue being stronger than the glue dot. Doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen right when you first put a glue dot in, and then it can happen near the end, or sometimes in the middle if you're using a glue dot. And you actually have to sort of prime it by getting it to pick up bits of fluff. You can use cover paper that's about, or you can use your clothes, just to take the edge of that tackiness off. And Melissa uses the arm of her suede couch. So that's another one. Whatever's sort of nearby to you that will give you, you know, just a little bit of fluff. Not a huge amount, just a little bit. Just enough to take the edge off the sticky, but not to completely cover it. Melissa's currently working on her spring lamb. So she got the spring lamb from Diamond Art Studio. That's a nice one as well. She does still need to name him. She says she's been having a horrible time lately. And when I said they had new designs, when I was unboxing Ozzy, he made her smile. So even though she couldn't really afford him, she got him. Sometimes you just need to do that, Melissa. You just need to treat yourself. And as long as he keeps making you smile, he's worth every penny. Worth every penny. Okay, so that's the pale grey. I've got 4 more colours, one of them being the one that goes here, there and everywhere, which will fill in all the rest of the gap probably. Linda says you can do any picture you want to do. Oh, thank you. I do feel guilty when I don't get some of my Heaven and Earth design done. Partly because my Heaven and Earth design needs working on just as much as anything else. And also if I keep pulling out Minions and Mr. Quackers, sometimes I feel as though I'm not giving much variety. But it is nice to know that you forgive me on certain days, and that you don't mind whatever picture I do. So I do appreciate that. I did make sure that my tablet was charged this week so that I could do some of my Heaven and Earth designs. It's been a while since I've done any. And it's definitely a long-term project. It's always been in my head as a long-term project. I don't know whether I expected it to be this longer term though. Especially with this one, which it's currently telling me on my tablet that I am 3.47% done. So I think both my Heaven and Earth designs are going to be around for a while. If I'm being realistic, they're definitely going to be around for a while. And yeah, I just need to try and feel as though they are moving forward by fitting them in at least potentially once a month is my hope, mixed in with other ones. Oh, we're on a very dark colour now. It's a very light symbol for a dark colour, but anyway. And then we'll start going into the more of the whites with 3865 and 5200. So I get to fill in a few little gaps here. I must have some resin drills mixed in with what I've got in this tub, because I've got one here that's got a bubble in it. I'm not even sure if it's even going to be able to focus, but there is a tiny little bubble on the side of that diamond, so I'm going to get rid of that. I tend to get rid of them, as I say, when I come across them. I'll get rid of ones that can't be used, but otherwise I won't go checking every diamond in my tray either. It's just if I spot them. Otherwise they go back in for another day. Let's mark them off. Emily. She says she's recently been doing a few small projects like 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres because the ones she's had in the past end up getting ruined, and had dots falling off. So do you have any tips on how to seal and store small projects like that? They won't go on a wall or in a frame. So for that, you can use a sealer. There is a sealer that I've used in the past I tend to use them on my off the canvas items. So the items like my passport covers that I've used in the past, or I've used notebooks, key rings, all that sort of stuff. You can use a sealer on them, and that can definitely help for the diamonds to stay stuck. So that, I would say, is your best bet. Also, before you then put a sealer on, if you do find that they're coming off quite a bit, then potentially roll over them with a rolling pin, just to make sure. It may be that you're quite light-handed when putting diamonds down. Some people are heavy-handed, some people are quite light-handed. So go over it with a rolling pin and make sure that your diamonds are flattened down properly and squooshed, to help them adhere to the glue on your canvas. And in turn, you know, they do tend to stick once they've been squashed into the glue, especially if it's poured glue. Once you've pressed down your diamond and it's sort of squashed in a little bit more, it can set a little bit better, and it can actually help it to really grip onto that diamond and keep hold of it. But sealer is probably your best bet. You can just use PVA glue, or Elmer's glue, I think it's called in the States. You can just use that to seal your painting, or there is some stuff that you can buy that's specifically for it. There'll be loads of recommendations. If you're unsure, depending on your country, just ask in the group. I do have a link to the sealer that I use in my link on my website with all my favourites in it, if you're in the UK, because mine is from a UK supplier. So feel free to check that one out if you're in the UK. If not, just ask on the group, and somebody will recommend whatever's, you know, easiest, or recommend a shop for you to pick it up in your own country. Hopefully that'll help. Anna says nice chat. Thank you, Anna. I do enjoy the WIP Chats. I do really enjoy them. I have been tempted. I was tempted yesterday because I didn't put a video up yesterday. I didn't have a video idea handy. We did have the shop launch. I thought I had a diamond. There it is. We did have the shop launch, and also I was out on the Friday night. Megan actually hit the buttons for the shop launch items. Well, to be honest, she normally does hit the buttons. I'm just normally there to answer questions and stuff as well. Right, I am on the last one now. As you can see, there is a lot of them to do, so I am just going to fill in every single one. I've pretty sure that I've placed down a diamond for every single place that I needed to. If I haven't, I'm over it, so I'm not going to necessarily cross-check. I am just going to place down the diamonds in every single square that's left. And then I can answer your questions as well. But yeah, Megan did the shop launch and hit the buttons and launched stuff and answered the initial queries. And yeah, yesterday I was half and half. I was like, oh, I'll do a WIP chat. I've had a lot of questions on the WIP chats. And then I was like, No, I'll pack orders instead. So I started packing orders yesterday, and they'll get their shipping notifications for those should go out at some point today as we get the postage ready to drop them off at the post office. They love us on a Monday after launch day. It's a good job they are so nice at the post office, because we do bombard them sometimes. Lady Dax says for her, Zesty Wolf is perfect. She was so glad that we didn't pick a Christmas one. She loved the June waffle, and she was stuck with what to get for December. They celebrate solstice in their house, so she would have chosen a winter scene to do. But now she can do her Zesty Wolf. So yeah, I think that's the thing that we were conscious of. If we went too Christmassy, it may cut out people that don't celebrate Christmas. And if we do have any left, of which we do still have a few, numbers are low, but they're not tiny yet. If we do still end up with any left after Christmas, I would much prefer to be left with a wolf than with a Christmas painting. She's been using the orange Zesty tray, which is the smaller tray, and she says she has to say she does like the smaller size too, but she's still keeping her fingers crossed that she could bag a red and a green one on Friday. Well, I hope you did. I know they've all gone now, and they have all been sold, but I hope you managed to grab whatever it was that you wanted. And I'm happy that you like the Zesty tray. I mean, when we first printed the Zesty tray and I first started using it, I was using it a fair amount, and I was like, oh, do I prefer this one over the other one? Like, has this become my favourite and I'm not going to touch the big ones? But then I found I was doing a couple of paintings with a lot more colour, or bigger sections with a colour. A bit like this one now. I'm doing a very big section amount of 5200. So I was like, oh, do I prefer, the smaller one? But then when I found I was doing a section with a big colour of painting, I ended up getting out the bigger tray, and I've been using the bigger tray again now for a couple of weeks. So I think I keep flipping between the two and can't quite decide. But I do still love the original, which makes me happy, because I wouldn't want to have fallen out of love with the original. I'm going to be varying my tray according to the painting I'm working on. If I'm working on a smaller painting, I'll use the smaller tray. And if I'm working on a bigger painting, I'll use the bigger tray. Because I like them both. I very much do like them both. Bella says, do you ever mess up a symbol because you'll forget that you're working on a canvas sideways or upside down? That's something that I've not done yet. I say yet because it's bound to happen at some point. I've not done it yet. Now, I don't know if part of that is down to the way my brain works. So it can take me longer, but I can read stuff upside down. And I can, if you've got something that's like a mirror image of some words, like if there's, for example, a shop door might have something printed on the glass that's meant to be read from one side, but you can actually still see it on the other side. While it can take me a bit longer, I can read those and I can work them out and understand them. And as I say, I can read upside down if I need to. And I think some of that is partly that it's down to the way your brain works. And your brain can either comprehend words and letters and stuff being upside down, or it can't. And I think that can make a huge difference with a canvas. Now, I know not everything on a canvas is a letter. In fact, I don't even know if I have any that are letters in this Heaven and Earth design. Well, there's a letter G in a circle, but I don't know if that counts. So yeah, I think it does depend on how your brain works as to whether you can cope with it or not. But I find it quite easy to read upside down / sideways. If I am working on something that has a lot of arrows, so for example the Minions one, I have taken, like when I was kitting up, and occasionally I refresh myself when I'm working on it, I do take a mental stock if there are any symbols that are similar. So on the Minions there is actually one symbol that has been used twice. I think it was by accident. There is a dash symbol that's been used twice in 2 different colours. But I do also take note if any of the arrows are very similar in colour. And I sort of tend to remind myself of that quite often. But I've always worked on that Minions painting on its side, so I'm used to automatically adjusting the symbols. But I did do a tip and trick video on it the other day, and if you find that you are somebody that doesn't process the symbol going on its side as quick, and I think that's purely down to the way your brain works, it's not a fault or a problem in one sense. Because I can do it, I don't know how common it is that people can or can't. It's not something I've ever looked up to find out whether I'm the weird one or not. I probably am. But yeah, I did do a tip or a trick on it, that if your brain doesn't in effect turn them the right way round automatically for you when you're looking at them, then turn your storage the wrong way round as well. Turn your storage the same way as the painting, because then you should look at the symbols on your storage the same way you're looking at the symbols on your painting. And if it's something you struggle with, that should really help you, because you're lining everything up the same way. Liz says, love Zesty Wolf, but she has a painting she must do. In March time, she said, March 2021, she bought a painting with all the 2021 events on. Lockdown, masks, jabs, etc. Yes, I've done one of those as well. She promised herself she would do it this year, and she hasn't even kitted it up yet. So she's going to do it for her December Advent. Perfect. She says it'll encourage me to complete it. Yeah, that is the perfect sort of painting to do. If you know, whether it be the December Advent or whether it be the June Waffle, whenever you do it, if you have a painting that you need to do for a certain time, or you've challenged yourself to do for a certain time, then doing a section of it per day can be the way that you can get it done. And you can set that for any month of the year or any set number of days, but I do understand if you're joining in with everybody else, it's that extra little bit of motivation, isn't it, to make sure that something gets done. So yeah, that's the perfect one. You'll just have to, Liz, you'll just have to buy the Zesty Wolf for doing another day, just because he's adorable. And I can't wait. It'll be kitting up time for him before we know it, and I'll be WIP and chatting my way throughout the whole month of December. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the December Advent. I do enjoy it. It's a busy time, but it's an enjoyable time, and I think I'm more excited because it's Zesty Wolf this time as well. Okay, get in there. Right, what else? Brianne says she loves Zesty Wolf, and with our community being global, there's some people who have summer in December or don't celebrate Christmas. She says while she's in the US and does celebrate Christmas, and the winter or holiday theme would be wonderful for her, She recognises that it'll be less fitting for others. She says the wolf you've picked out is cute and whimsical, and it'll be fun to enjoy as a group, no matter what the individual season or holiday. Those that prefer to stay with the season, she said, are free to DP along, and it will be wonderful to see other projects each day during the event. She says, I love about how you handle your Advent. It's more of bringing our group together to set about me time. Yes, that is definitely true. It is about me time. She says, also, random silly American here. She says, you talk about your jumper from time to time, and she wonders what exact article of clothing that may be. She says, in her area, a jumper is something that covers the torso and at least part of your legs. Kind of like a sleeveless dress to put over a top. She says she gets the feeling it's a sweater or other sort of top for my use of the word. Yes, you are right on that front. It is more of a sweater for the Americans. A jumper is a knitted article of clothing, and when we say it's like a sweater, it doesn't have buttons up the front or anything like that. That is what we call a cardigan. But a jumper tends to be a long sleeve knitted top. It's probably the easiest way. But yeah, if you ever have any questions about an English word that I use that might be slightly different somewhere else in the world, do let me know. I think the internet and you know, global awareness has made us all a little bit more aware of words that other countries use, and help us communicate a bit better. But I know sometimes I do just use a word. Ooh. Made me jump then. I think my daughter just dropped something on her floor, and her room is above my craft room. She has a wooden floor in her bedroom. Okay, breathe. Yeah, so if there is any word that I just spit out, it could be a UK word, it could be a northern word, it could just be a Rebecca word, to be honest. But if you're unsure, just ask. It's the easiest way to find out. Susan says, another great WIP and Waffle. She has to say Diamond Art Club did a very nice job with the colour blending on the minions. The diamonds look pretty. Yes, I do. I have been very, very happy with the way the minions ones turned out. She says, although she won't be doing a Zesty Wolf, she is doing a wolf painting. She already has 2 paintings that are similar to Zesty Wolf, and she decided to do one of them. Perfect. As was mentioned before and is true, the Advent is more about carving out just a little bit of time for yourself in the December madness to just do some diamond painting, and letting you know that it's okay to have your me time. Might not happen every day, depending on how busy your life is, but if you can squeeze out a little bit of time, it'd be awesome for you to join us. Even if you do miss some days, maybe you'll be able to fill them in on that gap between Christmas and New Year, and you'll be able to fill them in a little bit then. So please join us if you can, and we will do a section of whatever diamond painting you want each throughout the month of December. And then if you do miss any, don't quite get to finish any, then there's always between Christmas and New Year, and potentially even into New Year, that you can try and fill in those gaps to make it work for everybody. And then last question, and because I have reached the last question, I will squeeze it in, and then I'm going to mark off my chart. Amy says she meant zesty. Can you please keep us up to date? So that will be on the zesty trays, the smaller trays. We will keep you up to date. We are looking at next year, hopefully January, for us to launch the standard colours in the zesty trays. and we've picked January because it's my hope that January we can launch them in January, and because it's a stock item, people won't feel as though they have to go buying if they can't quite afford it, because everybody knows that December pay has to last what feels like 3 years because you tend to get your December pay early, and then you tend to have to wait even longer for your January one. So yeah, we're hoping for January, but as soon as it's confirmed, I will of course let you all know. But yeah, so all this section is done. Now there is an option on this one. So you can select all unfinished highlighted stitches in the square or on the page. So I'm going to select them all in the square and tick, and I'm going to do the same on each. So it will just select all that colour within the square. It will let me do it across a full page as well, but I've not put down a full page because I work on that block. So let's come off that. So there we go. That is the section that's been done. That is the section on here, and as you can see, we are right at the tippy top. I think we've got a bird's wings here. So we've got a few more to go. We've got 1, 2 and a bit WIP and Chats to go before we hit the edge of this one, and then hopefully I can trim this canvas down a bit and make it a bit more manageable. But thank you all so much as always for joining me while I waffle my way through, and I will speak to you all again soon.